Okay. I'll be out today. So I wanted to make sure that everybody can understand what it is that you need to work on without me. This is a simple lesson. It is everything to be done should be on a calculator. It's in your Unit 3 packet. It's this lesson 3 that we didn't do when we were doing these other lessons for the test we had before Thanksgiving. And if you go through this, there are instructions for how to do quadratic regression in a calculator. And in Canvas, I also have notes. This notes template that's on the back of your instructions. This is filled out in Canvas. So go to Canvas first and fill in your notes. These calculator hints and all this, so that you can refer to this as I explain the rest of these things. Go ahead and do that now. Turn the video off, write your notes. Okay. And I'm going to work through number 2 with you. And I am assuming right now that you already have notes to refer to. So here's number 2. I don't have labels on these points except for this one, but this point is 0, 12. And this one is 4, 0. So 0, 12, 2, -6, and 4, 0 are the 3 points that I'll put in the calculator to do a regression. To do regression, you go to Stat, Edit, which is highlighted already, and you type the X's in for list 1, that's L1. And then if your arrow, you go over, and list 2 will be the Y's that go with these. So make sure that you have the Y's entered in the same order so that the ordered pairs are correct. Then you hit Stat again, and we're gonna do a calculation, and it's this number 5, QuadReg. So you can either type 5, or you can go down and highlight 5 and hit Enter. Either way, QuadReg is quadratic regression. This just verifies where your X values should be found. X's are in list 1, Y's are in list 2. We're gonna not worry about this frequency list. StoreRegEq, as you should have in your notes, is we're going to choose to store a regression equation. If you have a trace, you can decide where it is saved to. And I just saved Y1. It truly doesn't matter. And hit Enter again to calculate. For a standard form equation, where A is 3, and B is -15, and C is 12. The equation for this curve is 3x squared minus 15x plus 12. Since I stored this in the y equals here, I can also look at the table to see what these other points are that are on the curve. -2, 54, 5, 12. Some other things you can find on the calculator are the vertex. If I look at the graph, I can read from the graph or I can read from the table where the vertex is. It appears to be at in between 2 and 3.
So I have to just like
Maybe, let's just double check. You can do second trace. And since this graph has a minimum, if I do 4, I can have the calculator tell me the minimum. I need to make a left boundary, and it puts a line right there. And you move this so that there's also a right boundary, and then you want it to guess what's the minimum between this left vertical line and this right vertical line. And I chose maximum, apparently. Let's try again. Oops. Second trace, minimum, which is 3. It told me the highest point, which is not what I was looking for at all here. In between the left and the right, what is the minimum, please? Okay, 2.5. Okay, the minimum, which is also the vertex, is 2.5, -6.75. So if I needed to write this in vertex form, I could write y equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k, where this is h and this is k, and a will be the same value it was for the standard form equation. So the equation in vertex form is 3 parentheses x minus 2.5 squared minus 6.75. You can also find zeros. So if I wanted to know precisely where it appears that this graph crosses the x-axis at 1 and at 4, but you can use this second trace to calculate the zeros. And you do that left bound, right bound thing again. So, whoop. In between there and there, it does cross the x-axis when x is 4 and y is 0. So there's a 0, 4, and you can do the same thing. Choosing a left and right with second trace. You can also look at the graph and see y is 0 when x is 4 and also when x is 1. So watch this again if you need to. This one's all done for you. I don't think any of them ask for this many things, but work through carefully. You will need a calculator for the whole lesson. I think you may be able to use your calculator app for this, or if you use your class time well, you finish this assignment or you're in. There will be a quiz for this lesson.